So I'm very pleased that having just played Nashville Storm Warning, I am joined now by Tony Regan and Kevin Brennan, who are County Affair. Welcome to Can Do FM.
Yeah, hi, Peter, and hi, listeners.
It's very nice to have you on board. You're on your way, obviously, to Barrow to gig tonight at the Forum. But before we get to talking about that, I'd just like to sort of reflect back on your very early days, because you started in music very, very young.
Yes, we started playing together live when we were 15, pretty much, where in an era of Irish show bands, which is the music we played through my dad having an Irish show band. We're very fortunate playing, twice, sometimes 3 times a week, even as teenagers. So, first of all, great experience and something that dragged us into the world of country music that we've never really left since.
So you had a few years doing that in your teenage years, and then what happened?
Well, we headed off to university, respectively, in 2 different places, which wasn't very good planning on our joint behalves. We ended up, north and south. Different universities and but then we found ourselves both separately in the States, and a chance came up to get the opportunity to play a residency in a bar in Houston, Texas that was stuck and desperately in need of a band. And I think we both knew that we had 200 gigs under our belt from our pre-university years, and we'd never played as a duo before. But we didn't let the truth get in the way of a good story, and we said we were up for a gig as a duo in a bar in Houston, Texas, and that became a residency over a number of weeks that first summer, and we then returned a couple of more times to the States and spread progressively in the first year initially, and then even more in the second year to Austin, Texas, which was the home of the emerging alt country scene at the time, mid-'80s. And we played further dates, Fort Worth, Dallas, and we got to California, San Francisco, played a number of legendary venues in the city of San Francisco, and then ended that trip in New York, playing opening for a big name Irish act, and then headlining ourselves. So what a blast!
Living the dreams across the USA.
We were 21 years old, and it was a terrific experience. We toured the States, but we did it on our own back, with our own hustling for gigs, and it paid for itself. We supported ourselves on the road.
So how come you never got signed?
Well, when we were out there, people were starting to, because this kind of blend over there of the Irish influence we had, but playing a lot also of the kind of Americana type of music was certainly seen as kind of a little bit different. And there were people looking to managers and so on. And it was just one of those things, kind of jobs back home had kind of been found, and we just make a call which way you go. And who knows? We made the call to come back, But it was just one of those things, really. Because well, it's one thing being managed. It's a long way to breaking through in the music industry, as you well know. Yeah.
So those departs, we went on and began our working lives, and life rolls through pretty quickly when it kicks in, and so the years rolled by until the later incarnation of the County Affair.
So what were these professional careers you went into?
Well, I was in sort of kind of marketing type jobs, and then general management, which ended up with me finishing running Quorn, the meat substitute based over in the Northeast. So that was kind of my multi-decade working life.
And I was more on the research and strategy planning side of the advertising business. So I worked in ad agencies and similar companies until recent years, kind of starting more of a freelance and consulting lifestyle, which was nice from a career point of view, but also made space for music, and so it created the conditions where the next chapter of the story could begin.
So when did you get back together to make County Affair a reality?
Yeah, it was probably about 4 years ago, I think. So I got back into songwriting through somebody kind of nagging me to kind of do it, and then discovered just how much I loved it, and having been listening to all sort of forms of Americana and alt country and God knows what over a long period, I had a lot of influences to draw on. And then once I started writing, I thought, it made sense to get back with kind of Tony to work on them in terms of recording. So we formed the County Affair to do that. And that was, that's when this leg of the journey started.
And initially very exciting to, be recording in a recording studio and, learning the craft that is involved in that and becoming familiar with the tech, etc. So, and some of the ways of collaborating on the songs as well, in two different cities, London and Manchester, where we each respectively live. So that was a great initial grounding, but we couldn't have foreseen that the music would be discovered to open yet another chapter in the story.
So the music that you're making, it's got quite a following at the moment. And I know that you're going to get a very big attendance in Barrow tonight. So, what kind of feedback are you getting?
Yeah, well, first of all, to the album, once we started releasing singles and the album, we've had kind of good reviews from things like Maverick and the Americana UK, the sort of
Chris Country,
big influences on this sort of genre. We were just doing an interview with BBC Essex, and they just played it and they really liked the song. So from a recording point of view, very positive. Live wise, really, this is a 21 date tour with Ward Thomas. Date one was Bournemouth. We've got Barrow coming up tonight. Responses, have been really good, really good. And there's nothing better. There's nothing beats kind of hearing people say, not they like the music, but also that they like the show. It was an enjoyable show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can have a few social media likes and retweets and those kinds of things, but there's nothing more tangible than the reaction of a crowd in a physical space.
Yeah, there's something about performing live, isn't there? There's nothing can really replace the buzz of that, or the dismay of it when it goes round.
Yeah, everyone tells me that Barrow forms a really good venue. Actually, it's obviously on a trip like this, it's one of the out of the way places, but it's supposed to be worth the trip in terms of you've got a good audience up there and a great venue. So really looking forward to getting there. Yeah,
the Forum is a nice venue. It's quite a compact, small venue in comparison to the big stadiums, but it's a really nice venue to perform in. You've got good lighting and technical guys there for your sound, although you've no doubt got your own sound guys, and it all comes together really, really well. And the audiences in Barrow are very receptive. Like to get involved. So I am sure tonight you'll have a wonderful time. But just give them a little snippet, give them a little taster of what they're in for when you're on stage tonight. Not in terms of performing, but in terms of what tracks can they expect you to be leading on this evening?
Well, a cross section of the album, so our album Off the Grid, which people can find on all the music platforms, is there to be listened to and found. And then, perhaps we shouldn't reveal all the detail of the set, but the highlights. There's a great cross section of the album, and across the genre, emphasis that exists in the album. From, we're going to be representing the kind of things that sound really country. We're going to be representing things that are kind of bluesier and rockier. And then with a tinge of folk and traditional Irish sound as well.
Excellent. I'm gonna end on your new release that you're going to make. So I'm going to ask you two to introduce it for us.
Yeah, well, we are the County Affair, Kevin and Tony, and our latest single is called "Go Tell Your Father."
Thanks ever so much, Tony and Kevin. It's been a pleasure to have you on Can Do FM. I hope tonight goes exceptionally well, and the rest of the tour is equally as enjoyable as coming to Barrow today.
Oh, thanks, Pete. We're really looking forward to it and meeting some new fans up there. Thanks for your support and playing the track out.